California has declared a state of emergency over the H5N1 bird flu. So we're going to get into that today. We have this great article by CBS. If you haven't already, please like, share the video, subscribe if you haven't already. I'll be posting more videos throughout the day. But let's go ahead and jump right into this. So we have this from CBS. California Governor Gavin Newsom issued a emergency proclamation on Wednesday in response to growing concerns over bird flu cases in the state and across the country. The state of emergency proclamation comes after more bird flu cases were detected in Southern California dairy cows. The governor's office stated Wednesday also saw the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention report the first severe illness in a person due to bird flu from a Louisiana case. This proclamation is targeted action to ensure government agencies have the resources and flexibility they need to respond quickly to this outbreak, Newsom said in a statement. The threat to birds has been happening for a couple of years now, with wildlife hospitals observing strict infection precautions. But then it jumped to cattle, specifically dairy cattle, where biosecurity measures are now only being imposed. We have about 600 dairies inside of California right now that are in quarantine because of avian influenza. Payne said the virus has mutated to infect cattle, making them sick but not killing them. When it does infect them, especially lactating cows and so on, it gets into their milk. As health and public officials note, to date, there have been no recorded cases of person-to-person spread of bird flu in California or anywhere else. So this is only affecting birds and animals right now. And the way that humans are getting infected is by contact with said animals or, like stuff that you get from the animals, like milk and stuff, their meat and whatever. Well, I don't know about the meat, but at least the milk. The dairy cows, you can get it from their milk. Across the U.S., the CDC has recorded a total of 61 human cases of bird flu across 16 states so far, with more than half of those cases, 34, being in California. So that's kind of where my disagreement comes in for here. A lot of people are pointing out that there's only 34 cases in California, which is not a lot at all. I don't think that's really cause for concern. What I'm more concerned about is no one's talking about what this is doing to cattle. It isn't killing the cattle, but it is infecting them. And it's because they're getting infected, it's also infecting humans from the milk or whatever else. From the milk or whatever else. But with that in mind, the more people it infects, the more likely it is to spread human to human. And we shouldn't have, that's what we need to be cautious of. So it's not so much that we only have 34 cases and 61 nationwide. That isn't a lot. That is not cause for concern. What is cause for concern is that it is mutating and it's moving to other animals, and it is now in dairy cows. So that is what we should be concerned about. A lot of people on the right now are calling this, a government overreach, which I think it kind of is. But what Gavin Newsom, and I don't like defending Gavin Newsom, certainly don't like defending him. But what the main concern is right now is the fact that it's infecting dairy cows. And the more cows that it infects, the more likely it's going to infect people. And the more that it infects people, the more likely it is to spread among people, and the worse it can get. And that's really what the concern is. But it's not killing cows. It's not really killing people. So I don't know how much we really need a state of emergency for that. But it's a pandemic already in birds, and we're trying to do so to prevent it from becoming a pandemic in humans. Excuse me. Right now, it's dead. It's a dead end in terms of getting into humans because it hasn't figured out the right key to unlock the door into our bodies. But but the more transmissions that occur, like in dairy cows, like in birds, the more it's going to randomly figure out that mutant, that variant that can cause more human-to-human transmission, which is the actual concern. I don't know if we need a state of emergency over that. I feel like the government can handle this just fine without declaring a state of emergency. Seems like a step too far. But while not linked to any known human case, one California raw milk dairy issued a volunteer. Okay, well, it's not even linked to any human cases. Newsom also noted that California has already implemented an effort to combat bird flu by working with dairy and poultry farms to minimize farm work exposure. So Newsom also commented that California has already implemented. So if they're already implementing things to combat this, then why do we need to declare a state of emergency to combat it further? What is declaring a state of emergency actually doing that allows us to stop this further? It just seems like Gavin Newsom just wants to have some extra power before Trump's in office, honestly. While the risk to the public remains low, we will continue to take all necessary steps to prevent the spread of the virus. As with other emergency proclamations, Newsom noted that the actions will open up funding for state and local agencies to respond to the bird flu. Is the bird flu deadly? H5N1 bird flu viruses are considered particularly deadly when it comes to human infections, prompting the case for concern from public health leaders. According to World Health Organization numbers, there have been more than 860 recorded infections of bird flu across 19 countries since 2003, with about 53% of those cases resulting in death. Actually, that's a little alarming. No deaths in the U.S. have been reported as of the recent outbreak. Common human symptoms of bird flu infection are similar to the flu. The severity of the symptoms can range from none to severe. So that is a little bit concerning, and that is more what I want to hammer home on. A lot of people are just talking about how, oh, there's only 30 cases in California. Why are we declaring a state of emergency? That's probably this. This is probably why. We talk about COVID and how COVID wasn't that bad. Yeah, COVID had a 99.9% success rate in terms of whether you live or not. There was a 99.9% chance that you would live from COVID. Now, that's not to say that there were people that weren't people that died from COVID. I know many people that died from COVID personally, but this is definitely alarming. We're talking about over 99% likely that you're going to live, and now we're talking about 53% likely that you won't. So that is definitely something we need to be aware of and something we need to take precautions against. We do not want this to become something that is easily spread among humans. A 53% kill rate for a virus, that is definitely alarming. But with the declaration of the state of emergency, let me load this up here. Sorry, my computer is very slow. Governor Gavin Newsom did release a statement. Governor Newsom takes proactive actions to strengthen robust state response to bird flu. What you need to know. Following the spread of bird flu in 16 states, including in California and outside the Central Valley, Governor Newsom proclaimed a state of emergency today to further enhance the state's preparedness and accelerate the ongoing cross-agency response efforts. Governor Gavin Newsom today proclaimed a state of emergency to streamline and expedite the state's response to avian influenza H5N1, commonly known as bird flu. This action comes as cases were detected in dairy cows on farms in Southern California, signaling the need for further expand monitoring and build on the coordinated statewide approach to contain and mitigate the spread of the virus. The virus has spread in 16 states among dairy cattle, following the first confirmed detection in Texas and Kansas in March 2024. To date, no person-to-person spread of bird flu has been detected in California, and nearly all infected individuals had exposure to infected cattle. California has already established the largest testing and monitoring system in the nation to respond to the outbreak. This emergency proclamation will provide state and local agencies and additional flexibility around staffing, contracting, and other rules to support California's evolving response. Ongoing efforts to prevent the spread and serious infection. California has mobilized a comprehensive cross-agency response to bird flu in dairy cattle and poultry farms to minimize farm work exposures, reduce dairy product contamination, and mitigate the spread of the virus. The state has enlisted local, state, and federal government technical and operational expertise to support all facets of the response. Worked to educate the public, health professionals, employers, and workers on prevention and control measures to reduce the risk of exposure to bird flu. Provided comprehensive information for employers and workers on personal protective equipment, PPE requirements, and distributed millions of pieces of PPE to high-risk workers at dairy farms. They don't say what the personal protective equipment is. I don't know what personal protective equipment would look like for bird flu or influenza. I certainly hope it's not just mask. I hope it's a lot more than just mask. Through coordinated public awareness efforts between the California Department of Public Health, the California Department, and other agencies, I'm not going to read all the state is leading a cross-agency response that includes timely public updates, multilingual outreach to dairy and poultry workers, targeted social media efforts to promote preventative practices, online and printed resources for the public, and media interviews to keep Californians informed. Additionally, the state is ensuring the agriculture workers have access to additional doses of seasonal flu vaccine from the Center of Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, to reduce concurrent flu risk. Don't take the flu vaccine. Talk to your doctor, but I personally would not take the flu vaccine. Officials have also been working in close collaboration with the Centers for Disease Control, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, the U.S. Department of Agriculture, and the local health and agriculture efforts as part of a whole of government effort to coordinate, implement, and ensure timely surveillance and investigation of potential cases of bird flu. And then it just says here, bird flu was detected in the United States in the wild bird population in South Carolina in January 2022, and in the wild bird population in California in July 2022. On March 25th, 2024, an outbreak of bird flu in dairy cows was first reported in Texas and Kansas, and the CDFA took immediate action to monitor the bird flu infections in California herds. Since then, there have been 61 total reported confirmed cases of bird flu infection in humans across 7 states, including 34 reported human cases in California. On August 30th, 2024, following its detection in 13 other states, bird flu was confirmed in a dairy cow in Central California, and the California Department of Public Health immediately activated its Medical Health Coordination Center. And that is the statement by Governor Gavin Newsom's office. Governor Newsom is also arguing with libs of TikTok on Twitter about this, of course. And he's also they're also arguing with Alex Jones. We have this tweet from Alex Jones. I'm not going to pull up his live. Tyranny alert: new deep state bill expands COVID lockdown powers to all pandemic right as Newsom declares state of emergency over bird flu. And then Governor Newsom press office. No, get the facts. This isn't COVID-19. Risk is very low. This is proactive to protect public health in the agriculture industry. Bird flu isn't spreading person to person. No public mask mandates or restrictions. Avoid raw milk and unnecessary contact with livestock. So if this is all, like if they're telling the truth that this is all that this is, I don't know that we need a state of emergency for that, but I do agree with the approach. We do need to have a proactive measure against this. We can't continue to let bird flu spread around and worsen and mutate. So I actually do agree with them to an extent here. But I just don't like the government declaring states of emergencies when it's not completely necessary. If they can handle it without a state of emergency, then we should handle it without a state of emergency. I read that article from CBS, and Gavin Newsom himself even said that they were already taking measures prior to the state of emergency. So I don't know what declaring a state of emergency does. And then we have Newsom also responding here. Oh, they may have deleted it. A state of emergency means there are extreme conditions affecting the safety of people and property, which is beyond the control of local government. Gavin's office just admitted in my comments that there is very little risk of bird flu. So how is he declaring a state of emergency? So, I get we don't like California, we don't like Gavin Newsom, but I'm actually going to have to side with Gavin Newsom on this. He's right when he said, like, at least they're being honest. There is little risk of bird flu, but the concern isn't that there's little risk of humans. The concern is that it's killing hundreds and thousands, maybe even thousands of birds every year. It's now jumped to dairy animals. It's not deadly to dairy animals yet, but it could become deadly to them. Livestock is very important in this country. California has one of the largest, populations of dairy cows. We definitely need to have a proactive approach to this. I'm a Trump supporter. I go Trump all the way. I hate a lot of the stuff in California, but I'm actually going to have to side with Governor Newsom on this a little bit because, I think we should have a bit of a proactive approach to this. We don't want dairy cows getting sick. We don't want other people getting infected with this. If it truly does have a 50% kill rate, yes, we need to make sure that it doesn't mutate and make it easier for it to spread. And then we have, let's see, libs at TikTok. What is this here? State of emergency means the duly proclaimed existence of conditions or disaster or of extreme peril to the safety of persons and property within the state caused by conditions such as air pollution, fire, flood, storm, epidemic, riot, drought, cyber terrorism, sudden and severe energy shortage, electromagnetic pulse attack, plant or animal infection or disease. The governor's warning of... Okay, again, libs of TikTok. I love your Twitter. I follow your stuff. You do some great reporting. It says it right there. It says animal infestation or disease. We are worried about animal infestation and disease. That is exactly why he declared the state of emergency. He did not declare a state of emergency because there are 30 people sick. He declared a state of emergency because of the amount of livestock that are being affected. So, like I said, I don't like Gavin Newsom, but I am actually going to have to defend him on this one. I actually, having now looked into this, initially I was like, okay, that's bullcrap. Why are we declaring a state of emergency over 30 people? It's not that we're declaring a state of emergency over 30 people. We have 600 dairy farms in this state, and we are concerned about them getting sick and possibly mutating the virus further. I completely understand that, actually. But Libs of TikTok is going at it with the press office of Gavin Newsom, which I'm actually genuinely surprised they're responding to Libs of TikTok. I just kind of found it funny. But no, like here we have this. Gavin Newsom's office is now fighting me in my comments. Fact, Gavin Newsom declared a state of emergency over bird flu. Yes. State of emergency is how they took away our rights during COVID. Yes. If risk is very low for bird flu, why declare a state of emergency? That is because of the dairy animals, not because of human infection. The state that I live in, which I hate the politics here, we declared a state of emergency because we are worried about livestock, not people. If it goes further than that, I will be the first person to shout at Gavin Newsom. But as of right now, I'm actually going to have to side with him on this one. If you disagree with me, go ahead and argue with me in the comments, or head over to my Twitter. We have my Twitter down here at GuckleBear. Go argue with me on Twitter, I guess. But I'm actually going to have to side with Gavin Newsom on this one. But as more information comes out about this, if anything worsens, or if he decides to abuse his state emergency powers, I'll likely make a video about that as well. But other than that, I'll leave it here. Thank you for watching. Subscribe for more.